As we continue our theme, A Certain Word for Uncertain Times, we come to chapter 2 of the book of Philippians, where Paul exhorts the church about love and service in the community of faith. He begins chapter 2 by the word therefore, which would refer back to chapter 1, verse 27, where Paul exhorts the church to live a community life, and that life would be worthy of the gospel of Christ. Now, to live a community life requires that the church, first of all, stand fast in one spirit, he says. And from that stance of standing fast in one spirit, that is not everybody just kind of on their own, but rather coming together. It's a spiritual thing that we come together as one spirit. We're like one voice here. We stand then fast in one spirit. And from that position or from that stance, the church then strives together for the faith of the gospel, he says, with one mind. Now, the word mind here is literally soul. So he's saying that we would stand for the faith of the gospel with one soul. The NIV translates this contending as one man, and that's the idea, as one unit, one man, one mind, or literally one soul. And the idea is that many souls work together as one soul. The many work as one. So this is how the church is to strive for the faith of the gospel. Now, in this chapter, he exhorts, first of all, the church to love, and then to serve. He begins by exhorting the community, the church community, that they love one another with the same love, in the same way that God has shown his love to them. He does this with what I would think is it's a beautiful flow of complementary expressions which underscore the fullness of God's love. He's challenging their thinking in terms of how they love. We'll see this as we're looking at chapter 2, the first few verses there. They're thinking, he's challenging their thinking about how it is that they love one another. He also is challenging them regarding their thinking and how they serve. He encourages the church to serve one another by thinking the same way that Jesus does with regard to being a servant. He gives this great example of Christ, and we're going to look at that in a couple of sessions from now. But he encourages them. He's challenging their way of thinking. You need to think, not the way you're thinking, your own self-interest, but to think the way that Jesus did or that he does with regard to being a servant. He references, after talking about Christ and how he was a servant, he references himself and also Timothy and Epaphroditus as three men who are thinking like Jesus in this regard, with particular benefit to the church in Philippi. So beginning in the next session, we're going to look at how Paul exhorts the church both to love one another and then to serve one another. It's a beautiful passage. I'm looking forward to sharing that. God bless you.